If you had to describe God in a tweet, 140 characters or less, what would you say? God is love, he's big and powerful, he's merciful, he has a sense of humor. Well, I asked you guys on Twitter what you thought, and here's what you said. Hello world, my name is David Dorn and this is Preposterous, which is not your typical Bible study. Would you include in your description of God the word generous? I guess first I need to ask if you believe that God is generous. Jesus in Matthew 7:7-12 tells us of God's extreme generosity for his people. But is that your experience? Let's look at these verses. Ask and you will receive. Search and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. Whoever seeks finds. And everyone who knocks, the door is open. Who among you will give your children a stone when they ask for bread? Or give them a snake when they ask for fish? If you who are evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your heavenly Father give good things to those who ask him? Therefore, you should treat people in the same way that you want people to treat you. This is the law and the prophets. Hopefully these verses grab you. Do you realize what Jesus is saying here? The God of the universe is open and willing to answer your prayers, to give you good things and to bless you. That is the nature of God according to Jesus, whom I would consider a reliable source. Now this doesn't make God Santa Claus, all jolly and fat with a kid sitting on his knee, willing to fulfill every childhood wish.
I want a pony, I want a fire truck, I want a fire truck with a siren, I want a fire truck with remote control, I want a baby brother, I want a puppy dog.
In fact, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. Jesus is using father-child language here. And Jesus compares the way we treat our children to the way God treats his. We are capable of horrendous cruelty to one another, yet we still give good things to our children. How much more will God, who is perfect, give good things to his children? So what do we have to do? Ask, search, knock. Those are action verbs. They involve us being active and persistent with God. God answers those who pursue him. You know, I often wonder if when we get to heaven, God will tell us, I would have done so much more for you if you had only asked. If it's in God's nature to be generous to his children, do you think you could ever exhaust God's generosity? Now, I want to clarify something. Money is a blessing, but it's not the only blessing by far. Often when people hear that God is generous, they immediately think of wealth and prosperity. But that's not how God works most of the time. You know, I'm fortunate enough to live near many Christians who come from all parts of the world. If you listen to them tell their stories, you will hear about how God answered their prayers, blessed them, kept them safe from people trying to kill them for their faith, and yet money rarely enters their stories. You know, you could be dirt poor and God is still showing you his blessing. You could be dying of cancer and God is still good to you. And no, I don't say that lightly. Do I fully understand pain and suffering and pestilence in this world? No. But I do know that God's love for his children is not conditional to temporary settings. Now this week's preposterous person is a woman that Jesus told a story about in Luke chapter 18. It's about a widow and an unjust judge. This judge was not a godly man and cared nothing about this widow. Yet she kept coming to him, showing up at embarrassing times for him, all the while begging for justice against her adversaries. She did this over and over and over, begging him to grant her justice. And the judge finally said, I don't fear God or respect people, but I will give this widow justice because she keeps bothering me. Otherwise, there will be no end to her coming here and embarrassing me. Then Jesus said something about this judge. Listen to what the unjust judge says. Won't God provide justice to his chosen people who cry out to him day and night? Will he be slow to help them? Purposefulness and persistence are keys to prayer. Now, it's in God's nature to be generous, but are you willing to ask him for what you need? Seek him for wisdom for decisions and knock on doors that need to be opened. May you stand and wonder when your needs are met. Your decisions become clear and the doors you never thought would be open are now available. God answers the prayers of his people when they seek him. Yet most often God answers prayers in the most unexpected ways. At least that's been my experience. Now Jesus finishes off this section with the golden rule: to treat others the way you want to be treated. In fact, Jesus says that's the basis of the laws and the prophets in the Old Testament. Close to 2/3 of the Bible is based off of this idea. Now that leads me to ask this question: is God's generosity to you based off of your generosity to others? What are your thoughts on that? Leave that in a comment or a video response down below. And if you do it as a video response, you could end up with a $10 iTunes gift card. If you like Preposterous, make sure you share it with your friends, and make sure you subscribe to us here on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Twitter so I can interact with you all throughout the week and you can interact with me. As always, if you have any questions for me, you can always tweet me at @IamPreposterous. And if you're interested in using Preposterous for your small group, make sure you check out the website down below and sign up there. May you this week be persistent with God in what you pray, and may you be surprised how God will listen. Check out these comments and video responses from the past few episodes. I hope you have a great day. God bless.
Look what I got. I've got, and I already know what's inside too, I've got a Yapo. This is a Yapo from David Dorn. And I entered one of his contests. It was on the Preposterous Project. Preposterous Project. Yeah, that's how it is. That's it. And where I made a comment and liked and put the video on Facebook, and in return I got selected randomly to receive a Bible. Yeah, and it's a new translation too. It's a Common English Bible. Yeah, here it is.